Hello world, welcome to CyberGate Studio. My name is Marcel and today we're going to talk about the iPad Pro. Alright, so if you've been on my channel and you've looked at some of my other videos, you will have seen that I have already done a review of the iPad Pro 9.7. I stand by a lot of what I said there, so you can go ahead and watch that video if you want. But much like the MacBook Pro 2016, there were some mistakes made in that video, in the review of that video, that aren't fair to this device. And really, namely, it was a defective unit. Just like the MacBook Pro, I just got really unlucky. So today we're going to talk about the 9.7-inch iPad Pro and why I have it again and why I actually keep it. Let's start with build quality. This thing is beautifully built. Just as I said previously, it's very premium, very light, very thin, and very impressive. I still hate the camera bump. That's the primary reason why I use a keyboard, or not a keyboard, sorry, a case. It's just a folio, or whatever you call these things. It's got a back, a little bit protection, and then has the smart cover so that when it closes it'll turn off the screen. I like that a lot, but the biggest reason I use it is it adds thickness to keep the camera bump flush. Something I wish, honestly, if I were to give Apple advice for the next iPad Pro, it would be just make it thicker and cover up that with battery. Maybe just make that battery thicker, that way it's flush. That'd be good. Battery life wise, while I'm on the topic, now that I use this thing a lot more than I used to, I do burn through the battery. It lasts, several days, that's for sure, so it's better than a laptop. This thing is fast enough, CPU-wise. The chip is plenty fast enough to do pretty much anything that I want to do on here. Anything that I can do on here, I guess, is the better thing. The better way to say it. It runs apps instead of full desktop applications. It has that reduced functionality, and so I originally got it thinking, you know what, I would do some quick video edits on here, maybe just, quick cuts, compile the thing together. Well, it turns out this isn't that great for that. It has a hard time exporting in a high enough quality. I can transition over, so it's one of those, is it worth the time and energy? I find that the Surface Pro 4 can do it faster, save in Premiere and already be in my project, and I could do the full video edit on the Surface Pro 4, pull in a bunch of other assets, do everything I need to do, and it just works out better. And then I can pull in my full desktop to do more rendering or whatever else I want to do. But I'm finding that this is still useful. With the Apple Pencil, something I also still got, I'm able to do some really accurate, drawings, or just the experience of pen on paper. This thing can take pretty good notes. I like the feel for note-taking better on the Surface Pro 4. I think the friction is nicer, all that kind of stuff. I know I can get a matte screen cover. I do have a screen cover on here now. But I think the biggest thing I need to apologize to Apple or anybody else that may have been discouraged from buying this product based on my previous review. It doesn't make that noise anymore. It doesn't screech at me, and that just turned out that whatever finish was done on the iPad Pro, the old version, it was bad. It was defective. They messed up. Manufacturing defect. Super unfortunate. I tested again on a new device, used the iPad Pro, used the Apple Pencil, and no more screeching, no more terrible, terrible noises. So turns out that it was just a defective unit. That's really good to hear. So if you want the Apple iPad Pro for drawing on Procreate or Adobe Sketch or, all those other different applications, this is a great device for that. A great device for hand lettering in Procreate. If you're a digital designer, great place to start before you bring it into Illustrator. Highly recommended. I actually use it a lot for photo editing. Lightroom and that kind of stuff. And I'll actually go ahead and show you that workflow now. Okay, so this is the iPad. iPad Pro, I went ahead and set it up. I put it back in the case so that we can have a bit of a stand, and this is the case I use it in. So, as we've shown, it's not going to sit, gonna freak out the thing. So let's go over here into Procreate. I got some crap about using Adobe last time, so let's go ahead and just create something new. Actually, let's just play with the bird here. So these are some default stuff. But as you can hear, there is no, there are no issues with it making terrible noises, but so this thing is good. It's not going to give you those problems like I was experiencing last time. So I just want to make sure that was clear. This is actually a very good experience. The way I personally use this is I got one of these, and this is a Lightning to what is this? SD card slot dongle. Again, you know, Apple's all about that dongle life, as we keep hearing. So all I would do is plug that in, just like that. Stick in my micro SD card, or my SD card. Sorry, the SD card's currently used to record this right now, so I can't. I only have one good one. The others are empty right now. So, but what would normally happen is this would come up, or you just go into your Pictures app or Photos app. There'd be an import down on this side here, and you'd go ahead and import them. And the cool thing is that so one of the things I didn't originally think I could use this for was in Lightroom. You cannot import raw images, okay? Which is I mean, it is what it is, but it kind of sucks. So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna have to shoot in JPEG. That really sucks. I don't want to have to shoot in JPEG. Well, it turns out that that's not the case. I can use Lightroom, but I would just have to import from my camera roll. And so what that means is using this dongle and the SD card slot, I can shoot in what Canon uses as RAW, which is like a CR2 or something like that file, and it'll import into the photos. And then from photos, I'll come into Lightroom, and then I'll import from the camera roll. And so you can see here it says RAW on some of these shots here. So let's say I want to make these edits. Hello. Alright, so let's say I want to go ahead and say I want this to be high contrast and maybe a dynamic color range, and I'm like, you know what, let's improve this saturation a bit, or exposure, sorry. Bring the exposure back up, and now I'm like, you know what, I want to just get his eyes, and I want to do a couple things here. But this isn't doing it for me, so I accept that. And I can share it, but when I hit the share folder, or share icon, I can come in here to maximum available. My recording stopped, so just to pick off kind of picked up where I left off, I went in here to, what is this? Photoshop Fix. So you share, you select maximum size available, or maximum quality, and then you send it to Photoshop Fix. So you can send it to other Photoshop or other applications as well. I like Photoshop Fix. So that's the kind of thing I can add vignettes, but the idea is I can use, in the field, I can go ahead and make some, you know, pretty okay edits here. I can come over here to Photoshop Mix, and I can import that with some other background and try to make some other cool, like, you know, so like this kind of thing. I can make my son the background of that picture, or, you know, whatever. That would be stupid, but so there's some cool stuff you got going on here. Just a different version of Photoshop, different functionality of Photoshop, and that's kind of what's cool about here. You can bring it into Adobe Comp and do some stuff there, but that right there is kind of what I wanted for video editing for this device. It turns out it works a bit better with still images and pictures, and the Apple Pencil is extremely useful for that. It's also very good for digital artists. These apps are getting very powerful, and it's something that people could legitimately use. So the end result, I think I stand by my statement of, for me, this is not a replacement to a full desktop or a full computer. I cannot replace my laptop with just the iPad Pro, but iPad Pro bridges the gap between a laptop and a full laptop and traditional iPad. what do you think as far as your experience with it? How do you use it? Do you use it purely for art? Do you use it as just because it has the most beautiful iPad screen on the market? And I say iPad screen. So do you just pay extra because you love it as a content consumption? Do you listen to music? Do you create music with GarageBand and whatnot? Edit video? Do what I do, where you edit photos and triage photos before you bring them into the full Lightroom or full Photoshop? Let me know what you think. And while you're down there, like and subscribe for more content coming your way.